Hello everybody, welcome to our surface mining methods and equipment class. What I wanted to do is to briefly introduce you to the topic by explaining the process. More specifically, I will tell you in this class what to mine from the surface, how do we mine, and what do we mine with. So let's then start with the process. Well, the mining process starts with mine planning. Mine planning tells us what to mine and when to mine the stuff. So to define what and when to mine, we need to go to mine planning. And those are the steps. There is 4 or 5 distinct steps. The first is geologic model. We need to have a geologic model of the deposit. Based on that, we then develop the economic model. Based on that, we develop the long-range plan, which defines pit limits, and then we define next step of the long-range plan, which is pushbacks. So we define pushbacks. As far as geologic model goes, it is mostly geologists who do it, so us mining engineers do serve an advisory role here. We do need to provide geologists with the information on how big blocks do we want to have and what is the definition of ore and stuff, but basically this is geologists. But then, having the geologic model, which is usually a 3D model, we ourselves build the economic model. So this is clearly the domain of the mining engineer to build an economic model. What it does, it assigns the values to the blocks and on that. Now, based on the economic model, we then proceed to develop pit limits. Now, pit limits is basically defining which material is worth mining and which is basically waste and should be left in the ground. And then, based on that, we do define pushbacks, which gives us some idea of sequence. Somehow we need to introduce the time value of money, and to introduce time value of money, we need to know what we mine when, and this is what we basically do when we define pushbacks. We allow definition of what will be mined when and therefore assign time to the value of the money. Folks, here at the bottom line I've got the outcomes of this mine planning process, and let me just go back one step here. Okay, one step back. One step back, here we are. So, geologists basically build the geologic model and tells us where the ore is and what type of ore it is. We do develop the economic model, which is usually block model and gives us the value of the blocks. We, mining engineers, define pit limits, means we define exactly what the ore is. I've got ore here, but it's only right here that we know what the ore is, because ore does have some economic connotations, and we will be talking about those later on. And then we define the sequence of mining, at least rough stages of mining, and we will spend quite a lot of time talking about all those stages. There's one other thing which I need to mention. As we move through the stages, in each of the stages we develop some new information. We need to feed this information back and check if the assumptions that we have made before were correct. If they were not correct, we simply have to redo the earlier stages and come up with updated outcomes. So as you see, I've got those arrows here going back. It simply means that after we define the pit limits, after we define pushbacks, now we can assign time value. This time value may actually change our pit limits. We may find that we are able to go further, deeper, or we may find that we are not able to go that deep, depending again on economic considerations. Folks, from now on this process splits into 2. And since I don't have big enough screen, I need to go to the next slide here. So this is my 2 stages. First is mine design. So what we do, we design our mines. Remember, we do know the pit limits, so now we can kind of build in the mine. And what we do the mine design for is basically to define measures which would assure safety of operation and which would assure the effectiveness of operation. At the same time, we do our short-range planning. Now, short-range planning is telling in detail what and when to mine. So based on this plan here, and this is a plan view of the mine plan, which is a monthly plan, which is probably hardly visible. You see different blocks here with different colors. Each of these blocks with different color denotes a volume of ore which is to be mined during the period of this particular short-range plan, which is 1 month. Naturally, there's quite a lot of interchange between those two. You need to know the design to be able to develop short-range plan, and vice versa. You need to know the short-range plan to be able to do your design. So we keep doing the short-range plan and mine design then, and then eventually we combine it all and we go and operate the mine. So this is now the final stage, which for many people means mining, but which is just tail end of the mining process. We will physically go and mine whatever ore or waste needs to be mined as defined by our mine planning process. Folks, as before, we would have lots of feedbacks here. As we keep mining, we keep learning more and more about the deposit. For example, we may learn that, well, we assume those slopes, but we're not able to keep this slope. We have to go to shallower slope. Clearly, this would mean that we have to mine more waste. There's a number of other things which we assumed in the planning process which need to be confirmed as we open our mine. And this is why I've got those two arrows here. Yeah, this means that we provide links to the earlier page. We may upgrade our geologic model. Yes, we would go as far as geologic model, because we may, for example, find that this part of the mine, which was originally considered waste, all of a sudden turns out to be ore, because our drilling was not dense enough, the exploration drilling, or for some other reason. And then going back to economic model, we would be inputting the costs. Now that we actually operate that mine, we know how much it costs to take this material and get it out of the pit and to the prep plant, and so on and so forth. And obviously we also have the inputs which go right here and right there. So this is a never-ending process that you have to keep updating the information and keep redoing your plans and redoing your plans and redoing your plans. So if you think that you do your plan just once a year or once a month, you're mistaken. There has to be a reconciliation process, which is denoted by those big arrows here. And this process basically permits you to improve the accuracy of your mine planning. Folks, here I've got a picture of a nice surface mine. Remember, before the hole was dark, we had to do lots of planning here. And now, as we dig the hole, we still have to do lots of planning. And this is the whole essence of mining process, that there is a number of activities which need to be done at the same time, and which needs to be repeated and repeated and repeated, and that the answers need to be refined and refined till we achieve what would be probably ultimate accuracy under the circumstances. Folks, thank you very much. This is a brief introduction, as I said, to what this class contains. Thank you very much, and we'll see you sometime again. Thank you.